So, I was stuck in my hostel room during the lockdown as there were no flights from Mumbai to the UK. During that time, I had an experience that haunted me for the rest of my life. It was the 21st day of the lockdown, and I was going to have dinner at the canteen, which usually looks empty but is still lively during holidays. However, it had a deserted look when I arrived, as if humans had vanished from the face of the earth. While I was eating in the canteen, it felt so empty that I could even hear my heartbeat very clearly. I was focused on eating my food when my attention shifted towards the courtyard, where VJ was sitting, a friend of mine. So, I was happy to see him. We weren't that close, but we were good acquaintances. Anyway, I thought it would be nice to talk to somebody during this time. So, I went to the tree after eating, but by the time I reached there, he had vanished. So, I thought he went to his room. So, I also decided to head back to my room. But then I saw a pen which was, I suppose, VJ's, so I thought of returning it to him. I took it and put it in my pocket. That night, things got weird. I was constantly hearing somebody knocking on the door at night while I was sleeping. First 2 to 3 times, I had opened the door to see who it was, but there was no one there. Then it knocked for quite some time, so I thought it was the wind and grew accustomed to the sound, and then I went to sleep. The next day, something even weirder happened. I was coming to my room from the canteen after dinner, and felt something strange that somebody was following, but I could only hear their breathing from not too far away. I thought that somebody was walking by, and their breathing was heavy. But the weird part was that I couldn't hear their footsteps, yet I ignored it. There can be thousands of reasons why it may not be heard. So, the breathing continued till I reached my room. Then there was just no sound of breathing, but there was some weird feeling that somebody was watching me from the window. But I ignored it and slept, thinking it was just my imagination. But the next day was the scariest of all experiences. As I walked from the canteen towards my room, I heard the same breathing, but this time I began to listen for footsteps. So, to make a fool of it or outrun it, I decided to walk fast, but it followed me, keeping up with my speed. Then I suddenly stopped and turned back, and nothing was there. Then I started to walk normally again, but my footstep and breathing matched my speed once more. Somehow, I managed to convince myself to turn back and see, so I turned back to see a glimpse of a shadow. I was too preoccupied to think, so I started to run, and well, I felt that the breathing was so intense that it was as if it was almost behind me. I somehow managed to escape it by trying to open any random room. In my third attempt, that is, the third door in the corridor after failing to open the previous 2 doors, this door opened. It was a deserted room where there was rusted and decaying iron bed without a mattress. The wallpapers were torn and felt like it was left to rot for ages. The window was rusted, it had grills but were broken due to the rust that it might fall any time now, and there was no fan. Well, it felt creepy, so I tried to open the door, as even the sound from outside had gone. But I could not open it. It was locked from the outside, and it felt like someone was standing outside the door, preventing me from going out. I then tried to escape from the window. Still, the rusted iron bars were sharp enough to give me a wound on my right hand as I was trying to grab a rod which was hanging outside the window and could fall anytime. The grill had enough space for me to escape, as just 2 rods were hanging outside, and the parapet was down. But as I opened the window door, which opened from the inside, I got my right hand on the rod. A wind blew, and the door hit my face, causing me to fall inside and shut the door completely. It was so dark, and I had an uneasy feeling that someone was watching me. In this uneasy feeling, I remembered the room number I entered, which was 212. In this room, a year ago, a boy had committed suicide. I was shit scarred. I tried calling for help but no one heard me, nor did my phone had any battery. In panic I started screaming, crying, and hitting, pulling the door but it was not opening. I even kicked it. I then started to turn the knob in hope that I would open the door. Then, suddenly, in a state of panic and stress, it opened as if it had never been closed. I ran away to my room. Afterwards, in the next 2 days, I avoided going that route or to the canteen. But nothing happened ever since. But after 2 weeks, I remembered that in all that running, I had dropped that pen I took near the tree, assuming it was VJ's.